We're seeing double-digit inflation in food, which is the highest it's been in decades. This surge in prices is not just a number on a chart, it's a reality that hits home for millions of families across the country. The cost of groceries has become a significant burden, affecting the way people live, eat, and manage their finances. From the smallest towns to the largest cities, the impact is widespread and deeply felt. Walmart CEO Doung McMillon warned in a recent interview. He highlighted the challenges that both consumers and retailers are facing in this turbulent economic climate. McMillon pointed out that the rising costs are not just a temporary spike, but a trend that could persist, making it harder for families to plan their budgets and for businesses to maintain their operations. His words resonate with the struggles of everyday people who are finding it increasingly difficult to make ends meet. This stark statement underscores a harsh reality facing millions of Americans. The cost of putting food on the table is skyrocketing, and the consequences are dire. Families are having to make tough choices, often sacrificing nutrition and quality for affordability. The stress of not knowing if they can afford their next meal is taking a toll on their mental and physical health. It's a crisis that goes beyond the grocery store, affecting every aspect of their lives. Imagine walking through the grocery store, your cart only half full, but your budget already stretched thin. Each item you place in your cart is a calculated decision, weighing the cost against the necessity. The anxiety of the checkout line, where the total might exceed what you can afford, is a common experience for many. This scenario is not just a hypothetical, it's a daily reality for countless families who are struggling to keep up with the rising costs. This is the reality for many families in 2025, as the price of basic necessities like eggs, milk, and bread continues to climb. The shelves that were once filled with affordable options are now a source of stress and frustration. Parents are forced to make difficult decisions, often going without so their children can have enough to eat. The empty refrigerator is a stark symbol of the broader economic challenges that are reshaping the way we live. The economic landscape is changing rapidly, and for many, the ability to afford basic groceries is becoming increasingly difficult. The choice between paying for groceries and covering other essential expenses like rent, utilities, and healthcare is a painful reality. This financial juggling act is unsustainable and leaves families vulnerable to further economic shocks. The strain is evident at the checkout counter, where every dollar counts and every decision is fraught with worry. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet, it's about real people, real families struggling to make ends meet in the face of an unprecedented surge in grocery prices. The stress of managing a household budget in these times is immense. Parents are constantly worried about how to stretch their income to cover all their needs. The emotional toll of this financial strain is significant, affecting relationships and overall well-being. It's a crisis that demands attention and action. The impact is being felt across the nation, from bustling cities to quiet suburbs, as families grapple with the harsh reality of shrinking budgets and rising costs. The struggle to afford groceries is a unifying experience, transcending geographic and demographic boundaries. It's a testament to the widespread nature of this economic challenge. As we navigate these difficult times, it's crucial to recognize the human stories behind the statistics and to seek solutions that can alleviate the burden on families everywhere. The rising cost of living is putting immense pressure on families across the country. Every day, countless families are grappling with the harsh reality of financial instability. The cost of basic necessities like food, housing, and healthcare has skyrocketed, leaving many to wonder how they will make ends meet. This isn't just a temporary setback. For many, it's a daily struggle that seems to have no end in sight. For many, the once manageable task of feeding their families has become a constant source of stress and anxiety. The kitchen, once a place of comfort and nourishment, has turned into a battleground where parents fight to stretch every dollar. The refrigerator, often a symbol of abundance, now stands as a stark reminder of what they can't afford. The dinner table, a place for family bonding, is now filled with worried discussions about how to make the next meal happen. Parents are forced to make difficult choices between putting food on the table and paying for other essential expenses like rent, utilities, and healthcare. The grocery store, once a place of routine shopping, has become a place of tough decisions. Every item placed in the cart is carefully considered, weighed against the cost of other necessities. The act of dividing money has become a painful ritual, with parents often having to choose which bills to pay and which to delay. The empty wallet is a constant reminder of their financial limitations. The financial strain is taking a toll on mental health, relationships, and overall well-being. Arguments over money are becoming more frequent, adding emotional stress to an already difficult situation. Parents, who should be pillars of strength for their children, find themselves breaking down under the pressure. The strain is evident in every aspect of family life, from the tension-filled conversations to the basic meals that lack the joy and variety they once had. Families are cutting back on entertainment, vacations, and other non-essential expenses just to afford groceries. The simple pleasures of life, like a night out or a family vacation, have become luxuries they can no longer afford. Instead, families are finding ways to entertain themselves at home, often explaining to their children why they can't do the things they used to. These conversations are difficult as parents try to shield their children from the harsh realities of their financial situation. Some are even resorting to skipping meals or relying on food banks to supplement their dwindling food supply. The sight of long lines at food banks has become all too common, a testament to the growing number of families in need. Parents often make the heartbreaking decision to skip meals so their children can eat, sacrificing their own well-being for the sake of their family. The reliance on food banks, while a necessary lifeline, is a stark indicator of the severity of the situation. The impact on children is particularly concerning. Children who should be carefree and focused on their education and growth are instead burdened with the stress of their family's financial struggles. The sight of an empty fridge or a sparse dinner table is a harsh reality that no child should have to face. Their worried expressions reflect the anxiety and uncertainty that has become a part of their daily lives. Growing children need nutritious food for their physical and cognitive development, and the lack of access to affordable, healthy food can have long-term consequences. The lack of proper nutrition affects their ability to concentrate in school, their energy levels, and their overall health. Unhealthy snacks, often the only affordable option, do little to meet their nutritional needs. The sight of a child looking tired in the classroom is a silent cry for help, a sign that their basic needs are not being met. The current economic climate is creating a generation of children growing up in food-insecure households, facing the constant threat of hunger and malnutrition. These children are at risk of long-term health issues, developmental delays, and emotional stress. The sight of children at food banks or looking at empty cupboards is a heartbreaking reminder of the challenges they face. Families eating sparse meals together is a testament to their resilience, but also a call to action for society to address this growing crisis. McMillon's warning about soaring grocery prices is not hyperbole. It's a stark reality grounded in economic data and market trends. He pointed to several factors contributing to the crisis, including persistent inflation, supply chain disruptions, and global events that have impacted food production and distribution. Inflation, a persistent problem in recent years, has eroded the purchasing power of consumers, making it more expensive to buy the same amount of goods and services. This is particularly noticeable in the grocery store, where prices for everyday staples have increased significantly. McMillon also highlighted the ongoing supply chain issues that have plagued the global economy since the pandemic. These disruptions, caused by factory closures, labor shortages, and transportation bottlenecks, have made it more difficult and expensive to get goods from producers to consumers. The surge in grocery prices is not a result of a single factor, but rather a complex interplay of global events, economic policies, and market forces. This intricate web of influences makes it challenging to pinpoint a single cause or solution. Instead, we must look at a variety of contributing factors that together create a perfect storm of rising costs. Understanding these factors is crucial to finding solutions and mitigating the impact on families struggling to afford food. For many households, the rising cost of groceries means making difficult choices between essential needs. Community food banks are seeing increased demand as more people seek assistance to make ends meet. One major contributor is the ongoing war in Ukraine, a major exporter of wheat and other grains. The conflict has not only devastated the local agricultural sector, but also sent shockwaves through global supply chains. Ukrainian farmers, who once supplied a significant portion of the world's grain, are now struggling to maintain production amidst the turmoil. The conflict has disrupted global food supplies, leading to shortages and price hikes for basic foodstuffs. Supermarket shelves that were once fully stocked are now often empty, and the prices of available goods have soared. This disruption affects not just Ukraine's immediate neighbors, but countries around the world, creating a ripple effect that exacerbates food insecurity. Climate change is also playing a role, with extreme weather events like droughts, floods, and heat waves impacting crop yields and livestock production. These events are becoming more frequent and severe, making it harder for farmers to predict and plan for their harvests. The unpredictability of weather patterns means that crops can be destroyed before they are even harvested, leading to further shortages and price increases. Furthermore, rising energy costs are adding to the price pressures. The cost of oil, gas, and electricity has been climbing steadily, driven by a variety of factors including geopolitical tensions and shifts in energy policy. These rising costs affect every stage of the food supply chain, from the fuel needed to run farm equipment to the electricity required for food processing and storage. The production, processing, and transportation of food are energy-intensive activities, and the rising cost of fuel and electricity is being passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. Trucks that transport food from farms to markets require fuel, and the cost of this fuel is reflected in the price of the food on the shelves. Similarly, food processing plants that rely on electricity to operate are facing higher operational costs, which are then transferred to the consumer. This complex web of factors highlights the interconnectedness of our global food system and the challenges we face in ensuring food security for all.